All right, we are back for the next round. Now, unfortunately, I had to do a whole bunch of Trello stuff behind the scenes, so you won't get to see actually how I did some of that. Actually, I can run you through the code. I just didn't want to live stream it because there was lots of stuff with like API keys, and I didn't want to sort of like go down that route of everybody ending up, having the possibility of seeing my API keys and, all that kind of messy stuff. But anyway, also, I'm going to be starting the Quasar show soon, which is going to be a show that I want to do every single week. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to do a pilot episode, hopefully tonight, if everything works out, where we just run through like Quasar tips. I talk about some Quasar related stuff, maybe some of the new stuff in the community. And yes, I'm just like testing out all my streaming stuff. I'm going to have to remove a lot of the echo in this room. This is like the worst room for echo, but that's something we can work on. Yeah, and just like learning my hotkeys as well. So I've made it so that I can switch between these two. It's like you're here and you're here, there, there. So I need to get used to all of those hotkeys. And once I've got all that sorted, then yeah, I'm ready to start doing the show, which I think is going to be fun. I got like a lot of really cool plans for making it really fun and entertaining. Another thing you need to get used to is having like a version of yourself being played back to you. Actually, maybe I can take that out. Yeah, this is YouTube live thing where you can actually pop out the chat. So let's use that and just cover up myself so I can't see myself. All right, that looks good. So now if I do this hotkey, now here I am in here and you can actually see my screen. I reckon that's pretty cool. I tried to make myself as minimal as possible in the bottom right because I don't even know if I want to appear on the screen while I'm doing this coding stuff. You guys can let me know if you like it or not. I guess some people find it more personal, but I personally like to just focus on the code. So, but everyone else seems to be doing this, so we'll see how it works and see what people like. So without further ado, let's dive into it. So one of the things that I've done since we last spoke is I've basically created my own wrapper around the Trello API and made it so that I can send cards send information to all of these different cards. So let me just show you a little bit of what that looks like. Where do I start here? All right, here's the best place to start. So if we go to App Services, I've added a Trello service. And then within that, we've got the Trello class. So what this does is it takes in my credentials, and I've got that set up using a configuration file. And then over here, this is how we actually send the query. And Laravel comes with this really cool wrapper around Guzzle called HTTP. It's so ridiculously simple to use. So yeah, we send through the method there. That could be post, get, patch, whatever. There's the Trello endpoint. And then I add whatever else on top of that. So that could be, for example, boards. If you want to go to the Trello boards API, and then we just merge in the parameters that are passed through with our credentials, okay? So that way we don't have to constantly put the credentials in over and over again. I've got them sitting in an environment variable so I can use it whenever. What else? So I've created all the requests, get, post, patch, and delete, and then started just playing around with the different endpoints. So if I scroll up here, I've got board trait and list trait. So I've just kind of been messing around here. Let's go into board trait. So to get all the boards, I just call this get, and then there's the endpoint in order to get all the boards. And by the way, I'm not using the API in the traditional sense where, you go through the whole OAuth flow. I've literally just got my own personal access token set up because this is going to be a really basic app. Other people don't need to be able to use the Trello API, just myself in this scenario. What else? So now we can get boards, get board lists. I've just created like all of those endpoints. So we've got access to just the parts of the Trello API that I need. And I'm thinking because this doesn't actually exist in the Laravel community, I might even release this as a package, just sort of fill out all the corners of it and get it working. Release it as a package, that'd be cool. And now the next thing I need to do is now wire that up to the app. So that's actually all I've done behind the scenes here. Just set up the communication with the Trello API. So let's go ahead now. And by the way, I should practice like with those moments, just talking to you to the camera like this, and then we can jump back into the code. All right, so I'll have to get used to that. Cool. All right, so this is the Trello API. I'm pretty sure that I've covered all the endpoints though that we're gonna need to cover. So now let's jump into our server here. we can start coding. Let's take us out of full screen. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. And there we go. So where are we up to? When we click on post, we get this form. We can fill it in and press submit. That's going to hide the form then and give us a little message to say that it's been sent through. And as for the route itself, if we go to api.php, here's an API resource for blog-forms because this is a blog post. And of course, down the line, I'm going to have content for all the different other different content types that I want to have here. And for those of you that are new, this is basically a way for people to say, hey, I've created a post about Quasar. Here's the link, here's the author, here's the comments, submit. And then I want that to go to my Trello board so that I can then triage it and then start saying like, okay, I'm gonna send this on my Twitter message feed or, you know, make a YouTube video about it, talk about it on my podcast. We're about to release a Quasar podcast and I'll be able to talk about like the latest Quasar news there. And this is a place for people to just basically have access to that. So there's less of a gap between content creation and the community. So I thought that'd be really cool. That's the point of this project. So let's go ahead now and yeah, forge ahead. So here's the blog form controller. And if we come here, when I create that, it hits this store route, goes ahead and creates the blog form. What I might do is create an observer for the blog form, which basically means that we can hook into create, read, update, delete, all that kind of stuff. We can hook into that and do an action behind the scenes when that event occurs. So let's come over here and I might actually open this up a bit more because I'm going to be opening and hiding it. Yeah, like that. Let's come over here, and I need to be careful now to make sure that I write code here because you can't see anything down. You can't see things properly because I'm in the way there. And now I'm going to create an observer. So art make observer. Oh, I think that's all lowercase. And we want a name for this. I think we can just pass the class through like this. And I believe it's just called blog form. All right, class option doesn't exist. Maybe it's model. Oops, added a slash in there. Art make observer. So we got the model, but then we also want a name for it. So let's just call this blog form observer. Cool, that worked. So now we can go blog form of observer. And now when this is created, oh, I can talk here. So when the blog post is created, basically, we want to hook into that and say, it's been created. I'm going to send an API request over to Trello to put that onto the Trello board so that Luke knows that it's been created, Luke being myself. All right, so let's come over here to created. And I think if I've used the service provider properly, I can actually pull in Trello. We can say Trello like that, maybe. And then Trello. So let's just see if we can maybe die and dump Trello here. Let's see if that works. Right, I think that's all we need to actually do to test this out. If I were using Laravel Ray, I could do this even easier. There's the result. Okay, it doesn't look like that was died and dumped. So I don't think it's actually picking up that we have an observer here. Blog form observer. Let's go into the Laravel docs and see how observers work. I thought they automatically registered them, but maybe I'm wrong. Observers. All right, if you're listening from each of them is all right, cool. To register an observer, you need to call the observe method. Okay, so it looks like I do actually need to register it. Yeah, so let's just, I don't even know where I would put this. Event service provider. Oh, of course, that makes sense. All right, so let's open event service provider. And basically what I need to do here is say, when my application is booted, I want to register this provider. And how do I do that? I just say blog form observe, and then we use the blog form observer. Blog form observer class is passed through there. I think that's all that I need to do. Cool. All right. Let's go ahead and see if that actually works this time. Coming back to our app, I can probably get out of here. No, I'll leave that open just in case. We might actually need it soon. All right, cool. Looks like we hit the die and dump there, which is giving us an error. Oh no. Too few arguments passed to created. So blog form. No, oh, we can just control click through here. Oh, okay, I'm doing that wrong. You know, let's just resolve that normally for now. I've never actually done this before, like resolved things through dependency injection. So I'm just going to do this. I'll say app, and we'll pull Trello out. And I'll find out how to do that later so that I can then share it with you. And we can set Trello equal to that. And now let's just die and dump it and see if that works. So let's come back here again. Let's see what happens this time. I'm not getting any information about that. Let's see if there's a better way to do this. Maybe we could just log something. How do you log things? I think you can just say. I know Laravel has something for logging. How about we just have a look at their helpers? All right, helpers. I'm sure there's like a log helper. Logger. It's not showing up anymore. Here we go. Oops. Logger. And then you can just put in the message. And then you can say error if you want to. All right, cool. I'm going to try and remember that for the future. Logger. And then we'll just pass through Trello there. So I can open up my logs file now. Doesn't look like I have one yet. Where is it? It's probably under storage, logs. Oh, it's in Laravel.log. All right, let's just clear that. And then we'll run it again. This time I won't die and dump. And I think that might actually work this time. Boom. And it didn't. What error am I getting here? Okay, it looks like it tried to log it, but it couldn't convert it to a string. So that's telling me that this actually is working. All right, so now that we've got Trello, let's go ahead and use Trello to create the card that we want to create. So one more thing that I want to show you, I can't jump into my env file because that'll show you things you're not allowed to see. But if we jump into Trello here, I've basically just allowed myself to specify which card is what, which list is what, using an environment variable. Okay, so it's just going to grab the ID of using my environment variables to find out which card is which. So if it is a blog, I'll be able to go into my config, say list IDs, and then blog. So I'll show you what I mean. If I say here config, and then we say list IDs dot blog, excuse me, rude. That's going to give me the blog ID that I can use to send the information to Trello. So how about this? We can say $ blog ID is equal to that. And then let's say Trello create, what is the method name? It's under board trait, or is it list trait? No, it's not list. Let's say board trait. And we want to say add card to list. Okay, that's sitting in the wrong trait, but I'll fix that up later. So we can then just say add card to list and then add in the ID of the list. So I should be able to do this now and then pass through the blog ID. And then behind the scenes, that'll send an API request but we need to actually give it some fields as well. And I believe we want the name of the card. And for now, let's just say blog form name. If this works, this is so freaking exciting. We're like, this is actually really close to being finished if this works. So notice that at the moment, I've only got my post in there, and I might actually come in here and remove that. So let's say archive and then delete. All right, so all of these are completely empty, and I'm hoping something will pop up in blog when I send this through. Oh, there is no title. There's only link. Oh, all right, so let's say, I don't know. We could do blog form dot. Well, let's see what's available. We've got link, author, and comments. Blog form dot comments, maybe? Or author? Yeah, let's just do the author for now. So the name of this card is just going to be the author, and then maybe I can put like more of the content within a different part of the card. Cool. All right, I think that's about it. Yeah. All right, so link, author, Luke Diebold. Comments, my comments. And let's see if that works. Nope, we've got a problem here. Argument 1 passed to add card to list must be of type string, null given. All right, behind the scenes, I'm just going to check that I've actually got the ID set up properly in my .env file. And I do. So the next thing I want to do is see if I can pull that out of my environment. So let's say art tinker here. I'm going to do it up here just so we don't run out of space. Actually, we want to say config. Let's copy this here and see if that actually is giving me the blog ID. All right, list underscore IDs dot blog, and that's not working. So let's go to Trello.php. Oh, I need to make sure I'm actually in the Trello config. Trello.listID. Okay, and that worked. So now I have the list ID to work with. All right. Oh, this is so exciting. Please work. This would be amazing if it works. All right. Trello. Ha! How cool is that? So what we can do now is we can have somebody fill out a form. It's automatically going to be put into my Trello board so I can then triage it and make sure that it is, okay. They haven't like added something rude in there or whatever. And then I can start sending it out on my social media channels. So this is really exciting. Let's push on. Next thing I want to do is actually add maybe some content. So should we have a blog title? No, how about we put the link there? Oh, should it be the link or the name of the person there? It doesn't really matter, does it? How about we make that the name of the person and then we'll add in the description here, the link and any other comments. I think that makes a lot of sense. So let's come over here to the API and look at cards, create a new card. Because that's what we're doing here. We added in the name. This is a description of the card. So I believe that probably lines up with this part here. Yeah, that would definitely be it. So we can change the description equal to the link and then anything else. URL source? Oh, cool. What does that do? Maybe URL source will allow me to easily add a link in as well. I'm not seeing anything here related to a URL source. Anyway, let's just play around with it and see what happens. So we want URL source, and things here are camel case. And we want DESC for description. I don't like that because it sounds like descending. But I didn't create the API, so I can't really complain. All right, so now we've got the description here will be equal to the blog form description. All right. And then we also want the link. I think, what do they call it? URL something. URL source equal to the blog forms link. think that's what I called it in the database. Yep, so that's link. All right, so when this is created, that should all run fine. Let's go ahead and delete this one and send another one through and see if it works. Man, I think this is so cool. Link my-site.com. In fact, let's make it quasarcast. quasarcast.com. Author Luke Diebold. A site to learn Quasar. That'll do. Cool, let's submit that. Why didn't that close? That should have closed. All right, so it's taking longer because at the moment, we're actually doing a URL, we're doing a request to Trello, and it's waiting for that request to go through in the observer before our application then sends a response back. So basically what we want to do is we want to create it in the database and send a response back, and also send a job to actually throw that onto the Trello board so that we're not just sitting there on that, they're not sitting on that screen waiting for it to be successful. So that's what we will do next. We'll turn that observer activity into a job. But let's come back here and see if it actually worked. Luke Diebold, nice. We've got that link to the website sitting in there. It looks like the description part did not work though. But this part worked really nicely. That's really cool. All right, let's see what I did wrong in terms of the description. DESC, the description of the card. Let's come back here. DESC, blog form description. Let's check if I spelt that right. Blog form. Oh, it's comments. It's not description. Ha! There we go. And I think that's going to be it. No, let's come back here, refresh the page and try that again. Cool. This is really exciting. Oh, you can't actually see what I'm coding anymore. I actually forgot to change it back. Need to get into that habit. Sorry, guys and girls. It's weird. In Australia, guys just means people. So I never thought of guys as being a male guy. But in other countries or in other places around the world, people hear the word guys and they think men. And so I'll be like, hey guys to women. And then people are confused by that. And it's like, no, sorry, in Australia, guys just means people in general. So anyway, let's try that again. And I might come back here and delete this one. And then we might start moving a little bit faster. Quasarcast.com. Luke Diebold, a site to learn Quasar. All right, let's see if that sends through. Let's come back here. Luke Diebold. We have a description in there. We have a link. That all works absolutely beautifully. That's exactly how I want it. So I'm super happy with that. So the next thing I'm going to do is handle all the other different parts of the forms. And I'll do that as quickly as I can. But this is going to take a while, so I might actually stop the video if it starts getting a little bit too lengthy. Yeah, because you don't want to watch me do all of that, but I might do a couple just so you've got an idea of what it looks like. So let's come back here. Make sure I share my screen back again. All right, so we've got one for a blog post. And I might just create a list here of all of the class names so I can do some copy pasting. So this is going to be a feature extension feature. Yeah, let's say extension feature form. All right, we also want a new extension form. Cool. And then we can say showcase form, news form, and then other form. They're all the different forms that I'm going to create. So let's just start with extension feature form. Jump back in here, open up our console, and now I'm going to exit out of here. we can say art make model. I should do this properly. PHP artisan make model. Let's give it some more space. You can see this better. And we want this to be all, so that means that we're creating like seeders, factories and all that kind of stuff. And we want this to be an API model so that when it creates the controller, it does it using the API methods. Now let's paste that in there. So this is an extension feature form. That's the name of the model. And I think that's about it. In fact, I might as well just make them all at once. That might even be faster. Yeah, new extension form. So let's do that one now. And hopefully I'm doing this all right, or I'm gonna have to delete a whole bunch of files, which would be annoying. Showcase form. Do that one. News form. Do that one. And then other form. I might even skip a bunch of these steps because I don't think I really need dummy data for this app. So maybe factories are actually overkill. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Are factories overkill for this application? Probably. That would be my instinctual guess. Okay, so I'm going to change this to Zen mode because I like Zen mode. There we go, and I can still open that up if I need to. And let's start with the first one. Extension feature form. Scrolling to the top. And we'll go through all of these files one at a time. Actually, no, it doesn't make sense to go Zen mode. Let's jump out of Zen mode now. Close that. Out of full screen. It's probably going to be a lot easier if I have all this information on the left side ready for me to work with. Yeah, here we go. So, extension feature forms. Here we go. This is the table for it. And we can go ahead and start adding the fields. So then we can say here what changed. So let's make that a text field, I think. What underscore changed. And I probably don't want that to be nullable. I want that to be required. And we'll have a link here. And I'll say just link there. Do you need to have a link? Oh, I guess I can make it nullable. Are you ever going to have like a new extension feature though and not have a link to the new features? No, I don't think so. So let's just make that not nullable. Let's say author for the author of the extension. Should I put nullable? No, we'll make sure they put in the author, and if they want to be anonymous, they can put in the word anonymous and any other comments. So then we can just add here comments. Whoops, that shouldn't say link. They should all be strings, string, and this will be text for the comments. All right. So that'll be it for the extension feature form. Let's move on to the next one. Extension. This is a new extension form. So first, what does your extension do? How do I name that? Extension purpose, extension solution. Well, let's just go what extension does. What extension does. Yeah, okay, then it's very clear what that field is. Where can we check it out? So that's going to be a link. What's next? What is your name? So we'll put in here author. So it might not necessarily be their name. So what's the author's name? Author's name. And then any other comments. So then we can put in here a text area and we can put in there comments. Moving on to the next one. Okay. Showcase. Create showcase forms. And first, what's the name of the project? String. And we can say name. And its URL. String, we've been calling that a link. In hindsight, link might not be the best name for it. String, what is your name? So we'll say here, we might just say author again there. So how about what's the creator's name? So maybe instead of author, really creator makes more sense here. And tell us about your project. So we're going to have a text area for this one. And once again, we use the word comments. Let's try and keep things consistent. All right, news, a news form, news underscore forms. And you know what? We can probably just copy a lot from this one. So let's paste that in here. Maybe title for the news. That kind of makes sense to me. And the link, what is your name? What is the author's name? What's the author's name? So we'll call this author. If applicable, who is the author of the news? Oh, it's kind of weird that I did that, so I can delete that now. And tell us about, so that doesn't really make sense in this comment. Any other comments? Question mark, smiley face. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, so we got all of those in. Next up, we've got other, and this one should be really easy to create. Other forms. And this is literally just going to be a text area. And we'll put in there just text, I think. Or body, even. I don't know. I don't want to put comments because comments doesn't really make sense in this context. So yeah, we'll literally just say the word text. I think that's fine. All right, that's all the migrations. Let's see if that actually migrates successfully. Art migrate. Okay, we've run into an issue. What extension does... Duplicate column name. Okay, for new extension, apparently I've got a duplicate column name. New underscore extension. By the way, let's just say db wipe, art db wipe. Whoops. Let's get rid of everything so we can easily migrate the database again. Okay, so I put in author twice here. So let's just go back to new extension. 1, 2, 3, 4 fields. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it looks like that's right. And let's go out, migrate, and there we go. We've successfully migrated the database. Next thing I want to do is go through each of those and make sure that all of those attributes are going to be fillable. There's probably an easy way to do this, but I might just do it this way for now. Although I think you could say guarded. Yeah, let's just find the easier way. Might as well learn as I'm going here. Yeah, I think on the model you can say guarded and leave that as an empty string. Okay, before using the create method, you will need to specify either a fillable or guarded property on your models. And I'm pretty sure guarded is basically a way of saying, yeah, like if you like to make all of your attributes mass assignable, you may define your model's guarded property as an empty row. Yeah, okay, that makes a lot more sense to me. So we can just set guarded equal to nothing for all of these models. Let's come out of full screen here, and I'll go through these models one at a time, and then basically set guarded for all of them. Oh, we've got a list of them here, so I can just go like this. All right, so let's open that up. Whoops, that didn't work. What's going on? Here we go, let's try it again. Okay, so now I can come in here and then say protected guarded is equal to an empty array, fillable. All right, let's do it for new extension form. Myro's doing some weird stuff, so I'll just manually search this new extension form and paste that in. Showcase form and paste that in. This won't be the most exhilarating video so far because nobody likes doing repetitive tasks. I don't actually mind it. I find it quite soothing. Other form, and then paste that in. Now the next thing I'm going to do is if we go to that controller, the blog form controller, and we got the store method here, I can pretty much just copy paste that for all the methods. So let's say extension controller to jump into that one, and let's find store. And then all we have to do here is say, instead of blog form, extension feature, feature form. There it is. Let's just check that imported. Oh, it's going to already be imported, so that's fine. Right, new extension controller. I'll have to copy that line again. Let's go to store. Here we are. And this is new extension form. There's that. Now we've got showcase form. Showcase form controller. Let's find the store method. Same thing again. Showcase form. And we've only got 2 left. Use form controller. Jump into store. Paste it in there. Use form. This is making me thinking, since I'm repeating myself quite a bit here, there are probably some things we could have done to sort of speed this up. But since this is a small project, I don't think it matters that much. Other form. Yeah, for these tinier projects, I think doing things this way is totally fine. All right, so what's next? Now that we've got all of those endpoints set up, and we've got all of those models set up, we have to build it on the front end as well. So let's go to index.view. I might go full screen here. We might have to do a little bit of copy pasting, which once again tells me I probably could have coded things a little bit differently. We've got the dialog button, and then basically within the dialog button, we are spitting out the form. So what we could actually do here is say for each. Oh yeah, check this out. I've got an idea. I think you're going to like this. We've got a reference to all of our form types, and that's being exposed down here. So rather than hard coding this, let's say v-4 is equal to form in form types. On form types, I'm going to have a component for each of these. So let's say component, or better still is, and then we can give it the component. I'm going to cross that one out for now. So we can say that this component is the blog form component. This is going to be a really nice way to do it. Now check this out. If we come up here, we want to make sure that we've got a key here, and the key is going to be equal to, what is it? The label, I think will do, because that's going to be unique. The label. So that should give us that, get rid of that error. Oh, the forms label. All right, so in order to get this blog form, what I'm actually going to do is say this is a component, and that component is the blog form, like this. Form.is. All right, so that should work. What we're basically doing here is we're saying, oh, not dialog button. Sorry, this should be blog form. And that also means that I don't have to expose it here as well under components. So I can get rid of that. Oh, except for actually dialog button, we do need to still expose that. All right, so basically we're saying these are the form types. We've only got one at the moment. The component we're going to use for the blog post is blog form. So that's a reference to the actual component itself. So now if we come up here, we're saying the component is form is. So that's going to get the blog form component. And hopefully that's all going to work okay. And since they're all going to be following the same API here with like the success message emitted, that should work out okay as long as I make sure I conform to that API. So let's come back here and see if that works still. With no errors, and it still works. However, there's something wrong in here. View received a component which was made a reactive object. By marking the component with mark raw or shallow ref instead of ref. All right, so let's mark that as shallow ref. It's basically telling me that it doesn't like having a component within a reference unless we use something like shallow ref. So let's just try that. But I want to make sure that these data points are still being referenced when I say shallow ref. So let's refresh the page. All right, so that's gone. If I do all of this, am I still going to get that data sent through? Yeah, all the data still went through. We still got that result, so everything's working. That's interesting. So by default, reference must go deep then, which surprises me because I thought a reference didn't, maybe in view 3, references actually reference the object all the way down. Or there's something I'm missing about reactivity, but anywho, that's kind of interesting. I can dig into that later on. Note to self. So, shallow ref there. First time I've learned about that. And it opens up the blog component. So now we can go ahead and make one for the other ones. So how about we say here, new extension. We're actually not using 2 anymore. We're just directly opening up the form. We don't have any new pages. In fact, let me open up the pages directory and see if we've got any raw leftover pages, and we don't, so that's good. Right, so instead of blog form, let's call this new extension form. And I'm going to open the blog form, and I'm just going to duplicate it and call it new extension form. So I'm going to do a lot of duplication here. It's not going to be very dry, but later on I might see if I can find ways to refactor, because that would be a good way to explore the composition API, because a lot of stuff like this, that could probably just sit in its own file somewhere else, and then I could reuse that all over the place. So I might look at ways that I can do that using the composition API, which is so exciting. Like, this is great. This is a project where we actually get to use the composition API in a way that makes sense. All right, new extension form. Let's have a look at the fields that we have in a new extension form. Oh, I can't do it that way anymore. New underscore extension form. Here's the fields. Copy, copy, copy all the way down. Oh, did I accidentally do something? Yeah. All right. So what have we got here? What the extension does. So 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and let's make a 4th field. And then what I'll do is I'll Alt, double click all of those, Control X. And now I can model form.link, author, comment. So now I can just paste all of those things that I just copied. And let's change the label as well to that field. And then we can just change it later on. Cool. All right, so this is the new extension form. Is there anything else that I need to change? All right, I need to change the fields here as well, and we're going to set them all to just a blank string by default. And there we go. I think that's literally all that I have to do. Instead of blog form, we call this, I think it's new dash extension dash forms. And that actually reminds me, if we go to api.php, we need to register all of these here as well, which is kind of annoying, but let's go ahead and just get that done. One of them is new dash extension dash forms. The other one is, it's like the extension update one, extension feature. Let's do that here. Extension feature forms. We've also got showcase forms and news forms and other forms. News forms and then other forms. So now I can say here other form controller. There we go. News form controller. Showcase form controller. Extension form controller. Extension feature form controller. And then new extension controller. All right, so we've got all those API resources set up. And what's next? Now we want to actually make it so that we send this request through, and I think that's already done. So create form request. Is that good naming for this? Create form. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're creating a form. And yeah, I think that's all done. Let's give it a crack and see if it actually works. Refresh the page. New extension form was not found. So let's come back to index.view. New extension form needs to actually be imported. So let's come up here, paste that there, copy that down. New extension form. Cool. It's showing up now. Next, I want to change the button itself and make it flat. Yep, that looks a lot better. But this shouldn't say post. This one should say new extension. So I must be hard coding that in. Where's the label here? Yeah. So that should be set to the forms label. Forms label. There we go. Save that. So now we got blog post, new extension. Let's click on new extension. What the extension does. Cool stuff. Link my dash extension.com comments blah 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 comments blah blah blah. And on the extension form, I just want to make sure that these are actually text areas. And why do they both say comments? I need to make sure the other one doesn't say comments. One of them is comments, so this is a type of text. Why is type set to author there? Oh, I've done something wrong. Done some weird pasting there. Anywho, and then type is equal to, what's the normal type? The normal type is just nothing. And this one will say author. So let's save that. There we go. Author is Luke. Debold. Comments. And we're not getting that right. It's text area should be the type. Blah, 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 blah. Submit that. It was sent through. And we don't actually have an observer yet. So that's why that hasn't been sent through there. Whew, all right, we're getting really close. All right, just going to stretch for a little bit. Okay, and we can move on. So, next thing we want to do is make sure that the observer actually picks that up. We might have to build an observer for all of these. So let's come over here. We'll go full screen here. And can I find that observer command? Maybe not. I'm going to have to do it again. That's an easy command anyway. Art make observer. The model is going to be equal to new extension form. New extension form. So art make observer, new extension form. And this is going to be new extension form observer for the name of the observer. Now, if we go to our event service provider, we just need to make sure that we're observing that now. New extension form, and then new extension form observer. Cool. So if we go to the blog form observer, we've done all of the mapping there. And let's add all of that mapping over here as well. So this time we're pulling through a new extension form instead. Extension, let's go to that config file, Trello.php config, extension dash, it's new dash extension, new dash extension. That's how we find the blog ID. Oh, not blog ID, extension ID. All right, and then we do all of the mapping however we like. So let me just come in here and say new underscore extension just to get those fields again. We've got the link, all right, so that's already done. What the extension does, we probably want that as the description. And then we've got any other comments as well. So where are we going to put that? This is where it gets a little bit messy. All right, let's try and imagine this. You've got your description here. I wonder how easy it is to format the description. Like, can I add in a new line by saying like \n or something like that? The description of the card. Yeah, how do I denote a new line? If anybody knows how I might do that, then let me know. I think maybe \n will work. Yeah, right. Well, we can just give it a try and see what actually works out for us. So that's going to be the description. And then we'll say \n. So we've got what it does and then comments. So now we're getting all the data in there. The author, the comments will be the second part. We've got the link and what the extension does. Let's give that a try and see if it works. Coming back to the app, new extension. And I'm just going to do dummy data for this one. Lots for the comments. Cool. Well, it worked. Nice. And the new line worked. So let's add a second new line there. Oh man, this is actually going to be freaking awesome. Let's just check if you can have 2 new lines in Trello. Save that. Yep. That works. I think in Trello, you can even do this. You can say like that to make it bold. How do I make something bold in Trello? All right, 2 stars makes it bold. What is 1 star is probably the same as markup, I'm guessing. Yeah, cool. So now we can add like a title here that says comments. So, and we can also add another title that says what it does. This is going to be really cool. So check this out. We can say here what it does, and then we can have a new line, okay, and then it tells us what it does, and then we get 2 new lines. And then we get a title that says description or comments, and then we get all of the comments. So this is just going to format it really nicely if that all worked out as I want it to. So new extension, let's do this properly so it looks good. What the extension does, allows us to work with .env files. In fact, that should be a text area. Let's come to the extension form and let's set the type equal to text area. Yep, cool. So allows us to work with .env files, link envfiles.com or whatever. In fact, let's do something real world here. So quasar.env. So this is an extension that Jeff made. Let's jump into there. And I can now copy its location on GitHub. Paste it in there as the link. The author is Jeff. I don't actually know his last name. I really should find that out. Comments. I had a lot of fun making this or whatever. So let's submit that. We should get like a spinner when that's submitted, so I need to remember to work on that. Oh my gosh, it even adds an image using the link. How cool is that? So now I can click on this. What it does allows us to work with .env files, comments. Okay, we haven't got a new line after comments. So that's the next thing I need to do. Yeah, so I need to say \n here. So now I'm just going to assume that that works and not test that again. I'll do like more thorough testing at the end. This is amazing. This is amazing. It even gives us an image there as well. I can click on that and I can come in here and now it even like, oh no way, it even ties into GitHub. Oh. But yeah, I can just click on, oh, no, not there. I can just click on there. It opens it up and I've got everything I need to start like messing around with this. Like if I want to share this new thing. By the way, let's see if anyone's actually online watching this. Oh yeah, we've had a few of you show up, which is fun. Okay, moving right along. The next thing I want to do is just set up the rest of them, I think. So we've got the new extension form. Let's go ahead and create a form for the next thing. So what was the other extension? I think it was called like extension update. So let's come back in here. Extension feature. Yeah, so let's duplicate that extension feature form.view. And what do we have in an extension feature? I might open it up over here. Extension underscore feature form 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's got 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's perfect. Let's use those for the model. 2, 3, 4. Paste that in, and then I'm going to come down here and 1, 2, 3, 4. Paste those in there just so we've got the right fields showing up. And now let's figure out the types for all of these fields. What changed? That is a text area. The link, that is just a normal field, so that's correct. And it's even got the right label at the moment. The author, yep, that's the author, that everything's lining up right there. Comments, this is a text area as well. Extension feature form, I think, is correct now. The last thing I want to do is add in the endpoint as well. So let's go to api.php and check what that is. Extension feature forms. So now I can whack that in there. And like I've said before, if this were a bigger app, I'd be doing things to make sure that this is a lot more streamlined. But it just doesn't really make sense when you're doing a smaller app like this, unless you plan on like adding a lot of features later on. So I'm going to keep it simple. Oh, I accidentally nudged my camera. Let's see if it still looks centered. I think it does. All right, back into it. So we've got the extension feature form. What other form do I need to add in? Have a project. So we've got the showcase one as well. In fact, I can just stick with this little part here. So let's duplicate that. This is going to be the showcase form. Let's come through and have a look at all of the showcase related fields. 1, 2, 3, 4. Copy those. 1, 2, 3, 4. Paste all of those in. I'm going to use those as the labels as well. 3, 4. Paste all of those in. And the last thing I want to do is check the types. So the name is not a text area. The link, not a text area, so that's correct. The creator, also not a text area. Any comments, we do want that to be a text area, so that is done. Let's just make sure the endpoint it's going to is correct. So we'll change this here to showcases. Sweet. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. And last ones we have is news form and other form. Duplicate that. We'll call it news form.view. We come in here and we say news underscore forms to check out the fields. They're a little bit different, so let's copy all of those, whack them in here. Actually, there might be a faster way. Yes. There we go. Just paste it in that way. Title, link. Yep, that's all correct. Labels, let's make sure they're all correct. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, I accidentally clicked on text area for the last one. Let's change that back to text area and make sure all the form types are correct. Author, yep, that's a normal field, and also a normal field. Sweet. Last thing I want to do is come here to the endpoint and say news-forms. And that one is done. The last one we have is other. So let's duplicate this and call it other forms. And now I can get rid of all of these because I'm pretty sure other only has one field. Yeah, it's just the text. And so let's come down here and delete all of that. We've got the one field. It is a text. The type is equal to text area. So there we go. Form dot text. And then we'll have to come down here and change that to text. Oh, I don't think I've changed this in all the others, so I'll have to do that in a second. We'll come down here and say other dash forms. Save that. For the news form, let's make sure we have all the right fields down here when we are initializing the form object. So I'm going to come up here, 2, 3, 4, grab all of those fields, come down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then paste those in. So that's it for news form. What about this one? What change link author comments? So if we come up here, let's come through and fix all of those up. By the way, showcase form, let's make sure the endpoint is correct. Yep. So that one's done. Extension feature form. I think I did it correctly for this one. So we got what change link author comments, and let's come down here. What change link author comments? That one is correct. New extension form. What extension does link author comments? What extension does link? Okay, cool. Looks like all of those forms are created and they should work just fine. So let's go ahead and actually start using them now in index.view. All right, I can come down here and add the rest of those forms. One of them is new extension. We've got a few of them in here. So let's just create some dummy ones. Jump out of full screen, close these off, and let's add all of these one at a time. Just do a save there. So now we've also got showcase. Oh no, extension feature. Extension feature. And then we can say here, extension feature form. I'll import those in a second. Showcase form. Oh, sorry. Showcase. Cool project. We'll put in parentheses just to make it more clear of what I actually mean by showcase. Some people might not quite understand that. Showcase form. And then we've got other, and then we'll say other form. Still like this. Cool. And now we want to make sure that they're all imported. I don't think my auto importer is working, which is why I'm doing it this way. Actually, maybe it's working with view 3. Other form. No, gosh, this is covering the whole area, which is frustrating. It doesn't matter. I can work on that later on. So let's copy all of those. So 1, 2, 3, import that from components/that.view. Save that, and my goodness, I think that might actually work. All right, there's bound to be something wrong. Other form, let's look that up. Other form. Okay, because I made it plural, that should not be plural, that's singular. Cool. Looks like they're all showing up okay. Let's have a look at all these forms to see how they look. All right, we'll want a heading at the top of most of these, but let's just get everything working first, and then I can start thinking of details. Like making this whole thing prettier. It looks like kind of ugly for now, but it's a start. All right, so yeah, we'll probably change the labels for a lot of these. Showcase, name link, creator, comments, extension feature. Nice, I'm happy with that. New extension and blog post. And I think this will look better when you don't actually have that scroll bar there. Cool. All right, I'm actually pretty happy with this. I think they look really nice. So next thing we need to do is set up those observers so that everything is actually being sent to the right place. Did I create all the observers or just one? I think I created all of them. So we created the new extension observer, I'm pretty sure. Yes, there's that one there. So how about the extension feature observer? Okay, it looks like that doesn't exist. So let's come over here and create a new observer, which will be extension feature is the model. Oh no, extension feature form is the model. And then we want to say here extension feature observer. So that's going to observe that model to see if it's created, and if it is, it's going to fire. So let's jump into that observer. Extension feature form observer. And when that is created, let's look at the other observer to get some inspiration here. Copy that, paste it in there, new extension, and in Trello.php for our config file, we can see that new extension is new dash extension in the config file. So Trello list IDs. Oh, hang on. No, not new extension. We want extension feature. Yeah, that's right. We're doing the feature one. All right. So let's paste that in there. So that's going to have the right ID so that we can identify this list. We want to add a card to that list using the extension ID, but let's change it to extension feature card ID. Make that a bit more descriptive. I should change it in the other places, so I might do that later on. Extension feature, set that all over the place. Now, let's do all of the sort of finer details. Yeah, we'll set it to the name to the extension author, I think. Oh man, I need to get up and stretch. Not good to sit down for this long. Okay, let's go full screen here. Extension feature form. Let's go to where it's been created. So we've got all the fields visible here. What changed, maybe? It's a text area, so it might be too much to put in the name. Yeah, we'll leave that as author, and we'll do something very similar here. What changed, comments, and let's change it from what it does to what changed. URL source is going to be equal to the link. So I think that's everything for the extension feature. Nice. Let's go ahead and create an observer. Observers are probably kind of overkill for this application, but it's what I'm used to, and I think they work well. Maybe not overkill. I mean, down the line, we might want to add some extra things that we want to observe. Like if something's deleted or updated from the Trello board, maybe I want to delete that from the database. So yeah, it's probably worth having the Trello, having the observers, or maybe I want to create an interface within this app where I can actually delete them, and then that will delete it on the server. So yeah, that's some stuff to think about. Okay, extension. All right, my brain's sort of blowing up now. We need to get back on track. We just did extension feature, so now we want to do showcase. Oh, did I do news? News isn't showing up there. Okay, let's just quickly do that. Index.view, showcase, news. And we'll say here news form. Let's see if that auto import works. It added view at the end. Ugh. No, it did not work properly. I'm just going to undo news form. Make sure that didn't. Yeah, okay, that's gone. All right, come up here. Paste that, copy that down. Change that to news form. Save that, and now it should show up in the list. Yep, there we go. And there's our news form, so that is working. Cool. All right. Back to what I'm focusing on. Now we're going to do showcase. So let's get that done as quickly as we can. Model is equal to showcase form. This is going to be called the showcase form observer. Showcase form observer. All right, let's open up showcase underscore forms to see what fields are available. This is our migration. And then showcase observer. And now we can come through here and let's just copy paste what we've got here. Store or created. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. Trello, so Trello list extension feature. Let's say showcase and just check that that is actually correct by going to Trello.php, and it looks like it is. So we pull showcase out of there so that we get the showcase card ID. Man, these headphones are starting to hurt my ears. Woo-wee. Ah. There we go. All right, showcase card ID. We've got the showcase form here. Save that. All right, so that's going to be the author. In this case, it is actually creator. And then we want to have a link to it, and then we've just got comments. So instead of all of that, we can just say comments. This one's going to be a lot simpler. So we got the creator, we got the comments, we got the link. Why have I got name and creator? Oh, I think I wanted this to be title. I think title makes more sense there. That's all right. We'll leave it as name for now. So name is equal to that. So we got the name of the content. And then how about we do this? That. And then we do a little arrow like this to show the creator. Yeah, so really, instead of name, I probably should have said like title there to make it just a little bit clearer. So let's save that. It looks like we're using all of the fields now, so the showcase one is done. Next, we've got news. I should be testing this as I go, probably. News form. Sometimes it's nice to just hack away at things, though. I mean, you don't have to test the crap out of everything if you're just playing around and building like a really basic project. So news form observer, here it is here. Let's go back into this file, copy this. Let's go to created, there it is there. And then we want to say news underscore form to jump into the migration file. And then we want to grab all of these fields. We just want to run through them one at a time. So we've got the news title. Let's come in here and say, oh, look, actually we should start here. News. Open up our Trello file to check that that's correct. Yes, news. Instead of showcase card ID, we'll say news card ID. And then the name here for the card, let's set it to, yeah, very similar to what we have here. So title, and then the author, and then we've got comments, and then we've got a URL that takes you to the link. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. So let's copy that, replace all of those with news form, news card ID. All right, I think that all looks really good. So we want observer for other, and then we are done with this. How about we come in here and say, maybe for other, I should add another field, which is their name. Oh, bugger. That's going to be some extra work. No, let's just do it. It's not going to take that long. Other form. Let's say other underscore. And let's just say sender name or, yeah. I don't know. Their name, person, no, uploader, sender name, user, name of sender. Okay, I think I'll go with that. I just want something that's really clear to me what that field is, so future Luke knows what it's all about. So we've got name of sender here, there, and then in the other form, we want to make sure that we've got name of sender here as well. So form dot name underscore of underscore sender, and that's just going to be a normal input field. Let's come down here now and set that. Where am I going to set that here? Oh, text name of sender. Save that. What do I have to do now? I need to make sure I re-migrate the database. The form is correct. And that's it. I think it's literally that simple. So let's just say art db wipe to wipe the database, and then art migrate to re-migrate the database. And that looks like that's working. So we've got, next thing we want to do is say other form observer. Did I end up creating it? Maybe I didn't. Let's come in here. Scroll to the bottom. No, news form was the last one I created. So let's come in here and say other form. Woo. Okay, and then we'll call this other form observer, and then go ahead and create that. And now we can just copy all of that and then say other form observer. And then if I go into Trello.php, I can see that it is keyed by other. So if I come down here and paste that in, and if we just pull out of the config the word other, that's going to give us the card ID, other card ID. We're going to add this to the list. And there we go. And this is going to have a name, which will be the name of the person. So let's open up. Oh, actually, we've got it sitting in this file here. Name of sender. So that's just going to give us the name of the sender. We have to pull it out of there. And there we go. No, not other card IDs. The form itself. So we got the name of the sender, and the other thing. Oh, your name. Make sure this is all set correctly. And the other thing we've got is the text. Whoops, description is equal to the text. There is no URL for other. If they want, I guess they could add it into the description if there is a URL. All right, so let's check that everything else looks good. Your name. And instead of title there, let's just put tell us about the content. Something like that. Cool. All right, so now that all of that's done, let's make sure all the API endpoints are actually done as well. I'm not sure that I did that yet. So if we go to the blog form controller and look under store, yes, that's correct. News extension, store, yes, that's correct. Feature, store, yes, that's correct. I think I might have stopped here though. No, we did it for showcase. We did it for news form. Whoops. And we did it for other form. All right, I think we might actually have everything ready. Let's go ahead and test this application. Whew. So, I might actually whack this on this side like this and throw this over there like that. And then we'll go to Trello. And I want to wipe everything off like this. This would be cool. Now I can just come into the Trello app and deal with all of these ideas one at a time so everybody actually gets heard. I think this is a fantastic idea. All right. Cool. Let's start with a blog post. So let's just say http my-blog.com. Luke Diebold. It is awesome. Let's try that one. And it shows up. But that didn't close. Why didn't that close? I didn't get any errors. Anyway, not a big deal. We can think about that later on. All right, so new extension feature, what the extension does, bloody blah, link, http blah.com. Jeff is the master of extensions, so let's add him in there. This one is super awesome. Let's go ahead and submit that. All right, that's not hiding anymore when I'm done with it, which is kind of weird. But anyway, that showed up, new extension. Extension feature. What changed? This and that. Link, bloody.com. Luke Debo, and now that should show up here. That one didn't do anything. Bugger. All right, so... Oh, did I register the observer? I bet you I didn't. Event service provider, I haven't. All right, so How many are there in total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's come back here again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Add another one in. Jump out of full screen. Give me the Trello board so that I can see all of those. And then we've got extension feature observer. Yep, there it is. Show observer, showcase form observer, news observer, news form observer, and then we've got the other form observer. Cool. We can go back to testing to see if this works. All right, so extension feature. Bloody blah blah.com. Luke Diebold. Blah, blah. Submit that. Wonder if I have to restart the server as well once I've done that. Oh, I'm observing it with the wrong class. Extension feature form. Showcase form. News form. And then other form. Oh, not observer. Other form. There we go. Make sure it's importing the correct one. They all imported at the top. Looks like they're all importing. Really, I could probably just inline all of this rather than doing it that way. Doesn't really matter. Okay. Let's test it again. And this time we'll cross our fingers even harder. Maybe that'll help it. .xom and Luke Diebold. Let's try that. I don't know why this isn't closing anymore. Yes, that's working. Awesome. What changed? Comments. Everything looks really good. What it does, comments. Okay, next up we've got showcase. .com creator. Luke Diebold. Look at me creating all of this stuff. So Luke is showcasing Quasarcast. All right, that one's not working at all. Okay, so let's have a look at the request that's going through. Showcases. Let's go to, whoops, API.php. Showcase forms, right. So showcase form.view, and then showcases should actually be showcase-forms. Yeah, showcase forms. And I think that'll work now. Oh, actually, let's call this one. Let's do this one properly. quasarcast.com. Link quasarcast.com. Creator, me, Luke Diebold. Comments. It was fun to build. And there we go. Looks like that's sent through this time. And there's my showcase. Wow, the Trello API is so ridiculously fast. By the time I look over there, it's like already shown up. And that's working absolutely brilliantly. It's exactly how it should be. So let's try this one. See if that works. And it does. Or let's just check that this is formatted correctly. So I'm actually going to go ahead and do that one again. News. New quasar release. Link quasar.dev. Author Razvan. Comments. This lots of amazing new features you'll all love, because I freaking love Quasar and all of its amazing features. And there we go. Shows up. We get that beautiful logo. We can open up the link if we so desire. Lots of amazing features. That's exactly what I need. Other. Oh, this isn't formatted properly. It's not good. All right, let's go to, whoops, other form dot view. Come up here. That should be receiving props. And it is. We've got the input props there. And they're being exposed here. So now we should be actually using them in both of these locations. Maybe this is one of those classic situations where you just need to refresh the page. Refresh the page. Oh no, I think I hard-coded the margins in there, which I should not have done, by the way. Bad Luke. Bad Luke. Yeah, that should be part of the input props. I'm not going to go ahead and fix that right now because we're nearing the end and I'm a little bit excited to get this done. Cool. All right. Let's come back over here. Oh, whoops, it's over there now. Other, there we go, it's showing properly. We can get rid of the API now. Your name, Luke Diebold. I had a cool idea this morning, ... And let's see if that works. And there we go. And that one hid for some reason. So the dialogue hiding is showing in that one. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's because they're not sending the success request. Emitting success. Emit success. Let's just try like the new extension form.view. Emit success. Does it actually emit it? It does. So honestly, I don't really know. It's something that I'll look into later. Or maybe it's one of those things, once again, where I just needed to refresh the page and it's actually all going to work now. But yeah, this is something I could actually push soon so that it's actually on the web and we can go ahead and get started using it. Yeah, so there you go. That's pretty much everything done now. Users can now come to this site. They can say, hey, this is some new content that I've created, fill in that form, and it's going to be sent straight to my Trello board. So I can decide, I can drag it onto one, move it to one of my other boards that's podcast related. I can move it to like a Twitter board. I can just sort of organize it wherever I need it and sort of put it into my own workflow. And if we want, we can add more APIs behind the scenes. So maybe sometime down the line, we have a Discord channel that, gives people the latest updates. People can then come over to this website, let us know the latest updates. I can tweet out about it, but then also it's going to automatically be sent to the Discord channel so that everybody else already knows about it in the Discord channel. Like, there's a lot of cool things you could do with this. If it's people that we trust, so people that are already on the quasar.dev team, we could set up accounts for them and have it so that it automatically sends tweets out on their behalf. We could do cool stuff like that, or I don't know, like Facebook related stuff, or I don't even know, like maybe even a chatbot. Maybe down the line we want to have a Facebook Messenger chatbot, and when someone on the team comes up with something new, they fill it in here. I can tell people through the social channels. It shows up on the Discord channel, and it also sends a chatbot message to everyone if it's something like major, so that they get a message on Facebook Messenger being like, oh my goodness, we're so excited. We're going to have like a party, an online party tonight because the new version of Quasar is released. Like, there's a lot of really cool things that you could do with this concept now that it's its own app. So that's why I kind of wanted it as its own app rather than like a Trello board that people go to. And it's just like a nicer experience as well. So we're going to make it look a lot nicer. I'm going to probably add a couple of like new features here and there. But yeah, I think it's almost ready for release. So I'll probably just grab like a new URL or just use the Quasarcast URL and throw this on the web. So thanks so much for watching. This might end up being the last video, or if I can think of other stuff that I'll stream about it, then I'll do that. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys and girls, and